Where's the other Mary?
Right here.
Yeah, thank you. It's very, very nice. My testimonials for stress relief, I put it over my children's mouth. It felt really good.
Since there is no break again.
Right. There's a lot of jokes about these things right now. Well, I thought I would just maybe offer at the very end here today a couple things. One is a little bit of a tidbit on the business to give you kind of a high-level perspective of the business, maybe a perspective that you weren't expecting today. And the second is a little bit of product development, and meaning us, a little message for us. So whenever I travel, it's always important that people understand the company. I realize that, you know, we can talk about products and we can talk about comp plans and ingredients and things I just heard here are really spot on. You know, the product formula is very inspired engineering, the way the product is engineered. But more than anything, people don't often understand why the business works the way it does. A lot of people think it's a lottery mentality, or some people call it a pyramid scheme. Just so we all know, the legal definition of a pyramid scheme is when we pass money from person to person. That's a pyramid scheme. It's illegal. You guys have heard of those pyramid schemes where you mail money to somebody and they mail money to somebody? That's a pyramid scheme. It's illegal. I served as the president of the Multi-Level Marketing International Association. I got to see the industry from the top down. Got to see all the companies, got to visit them, got to see who's got mojo and who doesn't, and how many people exaggerate things and who tell the truth, and whose product is for real and whose is just, you know, a lot of hype and smoke and mirror. So when I talk to you, I talk to you from a very academic place when I talk about the industry, that nearly 50,000 people a day join the industry. This industry is here to stay. It's a very powerful industry. It's a word-of-mouth industry. The other industry is retail industry. There's nothing wrong with retail industry. It's when you take a product and you make it and you get a little piece of it, and they put it in a warehouse. That warehouse sends it to wholesalers. The wholesalers send it to retailers, and everybody takes a cut and you get a little bit yourself. What we do is we make the product. We try to source a superior exclusive product, and then what we do is we put it out there to you, and instead of paying all those middlemen, we just say, look, it all goes out to us. We get to share it. There's no billboards. You're the billboard. There's no commercials on the radio. You're the commercial. There's no TV commercials, ads. You're the ads. See, so we just take all that money and we share it. It's actually a very clever concept when you really understand it. So what I did one day is I put myself in the shoes of somebody who might be sitting here who's a skeptic, who's saying, yeah, right, it works for them. Show me the money. Okay? And you know, I'm that guy at times. I like to see the facts. I do. So here's what I did. One day I took a film crew, and I'm going to reshoot this video between now and March 27th because we're going to air it fresh. I have a passion for making videos and movies and things like that. So I'm going to go back out and do it. And the name of this video that we did, and we're going to redo, it's called Residual Eyes. Residual Eyes. And it's the ability to see linear income versus residual income. And it's teaching you that intelligence. So the first thing we did when we filmed it, we filmed this in one day and edited it in the next day. That's just that's crazy stupid. But the message came out. Here's what we did. This was never to demean anybody who works to provide for their family or somebody who's contributing to society. It was never intended to be that. It was only intended for you to see the different types of ways to make money. Okay? Especially for the younger people that are here. Look, you know, we've read the statistics on unemployment, particularly with the kids that are coming out of college at that age at least. There's got to be something there for them to create. So here's what we did. We took a film crew. We took some, what do you call them? Disclaimers, liability, whatever you call them, sheets with us. Okay. Releases, thank you. I'm not any more rested right now than I was this morning, so I've been up all night. We've got these bonuses done finally. So we took these with us and we went to go interview the working class. And it was very interesting because they were all strangers and we had the film rolling and we just had to improvise each time. So the first place we went is to people who work on a time clock. I have worked on a time clock several times in my younger years. Anybody here work on a time clock before? Be honest. Okay, we know. So we interview them, get their permission. We say, hey, what do you like about this time clock, the hourly thing? What are the positives? I think there was 2 positives. You know, I'm not saying that's, I'm just saying there was 2. Anybody want to take a shot?
People that leave early or come in late, it makes them accountable for not showing up.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody else said
They know they get paid.
regular
Steady.
paycheck,
Yep.
steady, predictable income. That was it. Thank you. That was quick. So then I asked the same people, what do you not like about a time clock? Anybody want to take a shot at that? There's 4 or 5 things.
No free time.
No freedom.
No freedom.
Somebody else is the boss.
The boss.
Micromanagement.
Micromanagement.
Limited income.
Limited income.
No future.
You guys are nailing it. Woo. Some people here have worked on a time clock. Why wasn't I here with the cameras? But that was it, guys. You heard it. One lady just put it perfectly. If I leave down the street 3 blocks to my daughter's elementary school to go see her play, A, I don't get paid. B, I'll probably get fired just for not being, you know, shuffled in and shuffled out the way they want me to be. So if you snooze, you lose on the hourly side, and that was the pros and cons. But again, praise to these people who work and provide, for sure. So the second place we did, we were in a motorhome. We took the motorhome on the other side of town to the corporate side, and we pull up to the crosswalk and the signal, and you see them all walking like ducks, you know, together in packs of 4, packs of 6, going to lunch, and they're dressed nice. And so we sat down at one of them just to lunch and just said, hey, can we buy your lunch if you'll do these interviews? And of course they felt cool. So we asked them, what do you like about working corporate with a salary now? What do you think they said? Anybody want to take a shot at what they like working corporate?
Steady pay.
Steady paycheck?
Prestige.
Prestige, yes, for sure.
Power. Freedom.
Power, freedom. There's a little more freedom.
They look good.
They look. That was it. What I'm saying, I like to dress up nice. That was never me, by the way. I've never laid my clothes out the night before unless it was a baseball uniform. Truly. Let me see what are the things they like. Oh, one guy says, you know what? I like the salary because this company thinks I'm worth $42K a year. You know, and I hear stuff like that. They like the social side of it, where they email each other, where are we going to lunch today? You know, that kind of stuff. And they like the benefits. I didn't hear benefits. Some of them have benefits. That was about it. So then I asked the same people, what do you not like about a corporate environment? Ooh. Anybody want to take a shot at that?
Office
Office
They work more? Who said that? Politics.
Yeah.
That was the number 1 answer.
Yeah.
Politics. One person could be working their tail off and people make fun of him, while the other one's got his nose right up the boss's you-know-what, getting promotions and higher pay. That it wasn't really a level playing field for people. That was the number 1 answer. Job security was number 2. And a man in his late 40s, early 50s said, I've been with this company for 22 years, climbing that corporate ladder. They hired somebody half my age for half my pay. It wasn't my ladder. Interesting. Found that very interesting. The other things they didn't like, that was about it. They worked longer hours though. So then I got to live out my personal fantasy in the business world, and that was I got to go to the American dreamers, the people who own the businesses in the community. Now, when I was a small boy, a couple blocks down the road, there was an Asian family that owned a dry cleaners. And I used to think they were the coolest, luckiest people in the world because they owned the whole dry cleaning place, you know? And they drove a Mercedes, and I just remember thinking, man, as a kid, I wish I owned a dry cleaners. You know, it's just weird how you develop your worldviews as a young child. So the first place we went to was a dry cleaners. I thought this will be fun. And I'm always true to my little instincts, and so I went in and I asked them, how much did it cost to start your dry cleaning? And they said, oh, roughly 400 grand. Really? How many pieces of clothing a day do you have to do to break even? About 150 to 200 pieces a day. And I went, and I'm in this chemically laden, hot environment thinking, I could probably do that for a half a day, but for a career? Are you kidding me? And I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, I think you guys are my new heroes, you know? Good luck to you, thank you. So we went to the pizza parlor. How many pizzas a day? You know, the burger stand, we filmed the burgers being flipped, literally. How many burgers a day? 400 to break even. Went to the donut shop, 50 cents a donut roughly. How many donuts a day? 1,000. Went to the coffee shop and said, how many cups of coffee? And the guy said, oh, about 100. I think he drank 92 of them. But I was getting a perspective of what it really takes to be that dreamer that we all think, oh, is the ultimate. And don't get me wrong, I mean, some people love what they're doing. I acknowledge that too. But it's not as easy and as glamorous as it looks from the outside. So we ended up at a gas and go station. How much did it cost for you to start this gas and go? He said, roughly $1 million. Break that down for me, I said. Well, the land, and the engineering, and the permits, the building, the gas pumps, you know, the signs, the electronics, the cookers, the poppers, the brewers, the freezers, office equipment, you know. And he says, finally, I had to get my inventory. So I'm looking at a gas and go inventory. What do you see in your own mind? Be frank.
A ton of stuff.
A ton of stuff, but be specific.
Junk food.
Think chips. What do you smell?
Grease.
Grease. Hot dogs, right. Right, you got it. You're at the cash register. What's up here?
Cigarettes.
Right, you got jerky, you know, just
Coffee.
2,000 SKUs, 3 deep. Like, who does that? You know, and I'm sitting there going, this poor guy. So I sit down, I said, hey, tell me about this place. He says, well, I started this thinking that I would pull in once a day in my Mercedes to pick up the bank drop. I'm quoting him. He says, I live here now. And he didn't look, you know, real happy. And he said, we used to have an employee of the month. Now we have an employee of the week. You just got to last a whole week without using your cell phone while you're, you know, checking people out, you know, kind of a thing. And so I just became like really enlightened because it made me appreciate more what I do for a living, unapologetically. And the reason why is because let's say you came here today skeptical and you leave going, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start my own home-based business. In fact, any smart financial consultant will tell you, please get a home-based business no matter what you do, because there are tax benefits on the table for you that you're just leaving behind every single quarter, every single year that are available to you. And I've heard financial experts say, I don't care if you start a lemonade stand. Get a home-based business for tax reasons. So I'm like, okay. So let's say you join, and you're like, okay, I'm in this FG Express. I'm going to start my own business, 190 countries, FDA listed, I'm in. So you're thinking, okay, I don't need to put that $1 million in. I don't need a sign. I don't have to hire the employees. I don't need the permits and the permits and the permits, and I don't need a building. This is no business. What do I do? Oh, I got to get my inventory for my new multi-million-dollar business. So you place your order, whether you do it online or you call, and you're waiting for all that inventory to show up. And this is part of the video. It shows an 18-wheeler backing into your driveway. There's your and you go there and you put the gloves on because you're about to unload the inventory, and you flip open the back of the truck, and you look down and there's just one envelope in that truck. So you get the envelope and you're like, what the? Okay. So all of a sudden you start seeing visions of your life turning around where you make enough money to get your product for free, or you make enough money to pay your car, or you make enough money to pay your mortgage, or you make enough money to quit your job, or you make enough money just to be like really well off, whatever that is to you, right? So you take it and you're like, yep. I think I'm going to put it in the kitchen underneath the track lighting so I can look at my new business. Excuse me, I'm going to move this. So you're pacing your house now. Your inventory for your new business is just showing up and you're like, And you're, you know, all the doubters are now silenced because of you. And you're looking at this going, yeah, I've got my own business now. People said I'd go nowhere in life. Look at me now. So 10 days pass and you're looking at it going, huh, okay, better get to work. I haven't done anything yet. You know, because this is work, guys. That's one thing we got to get clear about. This is work. Okay, you do work, but you should love your work. That's the point, okay? It's not work if you love it. So, you finally go a couple weeks and it still hasn't moved. All of a sudden, 3 weeks pass and you're going, oh, stress. I cannot, and then you look in the mirror and you say, I must have sucker written across my forehead. I can't believe I bought that FDA-listed medical device. I'm a sucker. And then, literally a month passes and people are like, oh, man, that was way too hard. I think I'm going to quit. So they'll get their product out and they'll have a pity party and they'll open it up and just kind of, and they'll put one on. And the crazy thing is, guys, they're still in business. That's the funniest part. You realize if I go to the Gas and Go guy and I say, hey, I'm a consultant. I got an idea for your Gas and Go. Eat all your product. He would kick me out the door, right? Because in traditional business, your product, your inventory is gold. It is your lifeblood. Here, you can sell it, use it, give it to charity, do something special with it, whatever you want. The computer doesn't care. But when a lot of people do a little, already we've seen 40,000 people come in just a matter of a few months. Just boom, who are ready to go. And guys, we're just top of the first inning. We launch in 90 days. So you can imagine in 2 years from now, if we stay on this track, it's roughly 2 million people in 2 years. If we stay on this track right now that we're on. Yes.
What do you exactly mean by the launch? Like, what's that going to entail?
The launch is in Las Vegas, where we just formalize like everything. Like, there's a lot of things that we're developing to make this like perfect for the world. We're not there yet, but by then the goal is to have phase 1 ready for the world to rock and roll. So it's kind of a celebration, training platform, recognition platform, all kinds of announcements, etc. Okay. So what I'm trying to, yes, ma'am.
So this is the grand opening for the strips for the world.
Yes.
So
And there will
how
be.
long have they actually been out? Like, I know it's not open yet, but...
Well, we did a soft launch at the beginning of 2013, but I'd say we got heavily into about June was when it started, like heavily starting its launch program. So it's now in full speed now. It's really something special, guys. So, and we're, in Las Vegas, it'll probably be a crowd. And I'd say the only crowd that'll rival this crowd in Vegas is the Olympics. Really? Because everyone in the world is going to be in one place. It'll be very unusual and very historic. Yes?
So was your first number 1? That other, start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Yes.
Do you have any idea where we're up to now?
Of distributors?
Yes.
Roughly 40,000. Yeah. Yeah, and just what happens, guys, is like a couple hundred people a week join, and then 500 a week, and then 1,000 a week, and now 2,500 a week, approaching 4,000 a week by February probably. I mean, that's how it goes, guys. If we do our jobs right, then it exponentially grows, and then we hit a point what's called critical mass when you just kind of let go, and it's crazy. So that's what we're working for. But the reason I shared that story of residual eyes with you folks here is so that every one of you in the room could relate to the intelligence of this model. You wonder why 50,000 people a day join this industry? Now you know. If I were to give you an example of traditional business and how it works, let's say you went and saw a movie that you really, really liked. I went and saw, it's probably more of a guy's movie, but I went and saw The Anchorman, and I kind of laughed at some of the parts. It was pretty funny. And but if I went and told my friends, go see Anchorman, there's some funny parts in there you'll really like. And what if Cinemark were to send me a check every time I sent people to go see it? That's what we do here. That's how we do it. We just keep track. We have very sophisticated software that just keeps track and compresses and pays every single week. How many people here have gotten a check from FG Express? Okay? So about a quarter of the room. All right. So this morning I said to you that I've only seen this industry work, and I knock on wood and hope that continues to be the case. I've only seen it work, guys. So that's the intelligence behind what we do. So if you want to do it part-time. Do it 4 hours a week. Do it 14 hours a week. Do it 40 hours a week. Do it 104 hours a week. Whatever your likings are, there's no right or wrong answer. Just go after it and do it and make that time efficient. In closing, well, before I share my final thought, I would say those of you who really want to experience this company in stereo, come to Vegas. Plan on it. It'll be fun for one. It'll be educational. It'll definitely be inspirational, you know, and you'll be able to see it all in just vivid color there for you to experience as a whole. One of the things also that you'll get is, I believe Dr. Kim is going to be there, the actual maker of the product. All the doctors are going to be there, all these people from all over the world, and there'll be lots of secrets shared there. But even the launch, it's just basically day one, guys. In 3 months, day one begins for this company. So anything you
earn tickets too.
yeah, you can earn tickets, yeah, if you do certain things. In fact, I know they're doing a drawing here pretty quick, if they haven't already, for people that are applying to win the trip itself. So that's kind of what it is. Also, just so you guys know, tonight I think we have a leadership dinner, and I'll be sharing a little bit of this. But at this event, we're going to make a cool announcement regarding the Forever Green product and how it plays into all this in a very subtle but attractive way for people without it being a distraction. More of a retention plan, not a distraction plan. So those are some of the things that you'll be learning moving forward. We've hired all kinds of new people. We're busting out of our offices right now. We're looking for new space. So we are having to do a lot of things internally. But as I close, what I would share with you is this. And to me, this is probably, for me, the most important part of the message, at least that I've been able to share with you today. And that this is what I call product development right here, okay? Because I think commodity comes and go, but it's this is the value here. This is king, what's in this room right here. And I think that how you show up in your business has everything to do with your success. It's not always the mechanics. Yes, you want the mechanics to be good. It's not always the product. Yes, you want the product to be great. It's not always the pay plan. Yes, you want that to be great. But what really is central is you. And so one time I was doing a training. Occasionally I do a training for personal development. It's called the You of You. And one time I was doing it, and this teenage girl raised her hand, and I was talking about self-worth and stuff, and she says, "Can you define self-esteem for me?" And I just kind of had this kind of like, well, of course. And then I started trying to articulate it, and I couldn't do it really well. I was like, well, it's what you think of yourself, and you know, and I just realized that I hadn't gone deep into what that is or isn't. So I went home and I took her email address because I was quite baffled and embarrassed, and I went home and I just really thought about it. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I can tell you what came out of me after a few days of thought. And this is key for us in this room here today. We talk about self-worth and self-esteem in our society like it's a tattoo. That person has a low self-worth, and oh, that person has a pretty high self-worth. And you go in an airport or a mall, you see some people just buzzing by on a mission, and you see the clueless just you know, and you wonder, what is the difference between these two people? They look identical. This one has just got, man, they're on a mission, and this one's just breathing. And so I thought, man, what is self-worth? Because I've always talked about it like it was a tattoo. And there has to be more to it than that. So I got to thinking, and here's what came at me. Self-worth can be earned this very second by each and every one of us. And the question is how? So I got to thinking, let's say we all have dreams in our life, and whether we admit it right here on the spot or not, we all have thoughts and dreams of how our families should be and look, and how our relationships are, and how our money and career should be, and how our community and our spirituality. We all have these somewhere in us. They're there. Some of us are right there in the forefront. We know exactly what we want. So what happens is, as we're a child, when you ask a child what they want to be when they grow up, they say anything. Because they can. It's not only until they grow up that they begin to edit their words, and often they start editing the words because of us. So how do we go back to that? So the idea is, if these are the things you want and you get clear about them again, see, if this is what you want and you're living over here, it's lights out. You are just breathing. You're walking. You're existing. You're not thriving. You're not inspiring. You're not attracting. But if you got clear about what your dreams really were, even tonight, went home and wrote them down and said, this is who I am. This is what I believe. And this is who I love. And this is what I want to see in my community, and this is my spirituality, and you know what? I'm worth it. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to live in a bigger house, Mary, right? Because I can. And so maybe self-worth is how much in the moment you live into it. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about times in your life when you were buzzing? Because you were you were living in something that you wanted and believed, and you were buzzing going, don't touch me. But all of a sudden we forget that, and we're just barely existing and repelling people, and we just like ghosts walking around our communities. So my encouragement to you is if you want to succeed in anything, get clear about who you are and what you want to create. And you either live this life by design, or you live this life by default, by default. You're either snapping life around, or life is snapping you around. It's the people who wake up and say, well, I wonder what's going to happen today. I told you she wouldn't like me. You know? It's the difference between somebody looking in this room from that hallway going, is this thing happening? And the difference is somebody walking in and going, it's happening now. Because you're bringing it to the room. You count when you walk into every room, in front of every person you're with. You are bringing something. So you either make deposits or you make withdrawals. And you're very aware of that as you go through your day and through your life. So if you're doing your business and it's all about making deposits and stepping into your truth and living it, because energy doesn't lie, you don't want to be the empty person and go through the mechanics that never lands. You want to be this person that resonates everywhere they go, so people go, oh my gosh, I want to be around that person more. I love being around that person. See, those are the rainmakers. Those are the people that people want to marry and make babies with and go into business with. The party doesn't start until they get there and say, yep, the party's here. And they know it. Is there anything wrong with that? No. Wouldn't it be a better party if we all showed up like that? Right? It'd be a much funner party. So, my encouragement to you is realize that if you're feeling low, and if you're feeling lifeless, and you're needing hope and light, that you get clear about this for you. That you realize that we're all beautiful, we're all miraculous, we're all glorious, we're all these amazing wonders, godlike. We just all sometimes forget. That's it. So today is a reminder, a wake-up for all of us to realize that this is product development, not this. This is beautiful. We're very fortunate and blessed to have this, but this is the magic. This is what makes it all happen. So I came here today just to bring that hope, that light, hopefully that inspiration and that connection between us, that we now live inside a vision that's bigger than all of us, where your color of your skin, your political views, where you come from, male or female, rich or poor, we belong together. Is it about race? Yes, the human race. So welcome home, welcome to Forever Green Day.